Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. In this video, we will be telling you to stop. Stop. What are you doing right now? No, but stop. There's something in your life that you must stop, and it feels like Spirit wants to redirect you on a different path. So there's something in your life they want for you to stop, and I'll provide you with insights into what Spirit would like for you to do instead. Maybe it could even be something that's like in addition to what you're doing, but I feel like it's mainly more so replacing something that you're doing in your life right now that Spirit wants for you to stop and do something else or go down a different path. I actually haven't even looked at these cards yet, but these are signifier cards for the other cards that I will pull for your stack. I have not pulled them yet. We have 3 piles as usual, 1A, 2B, and 3C. We are using let me see if I can get this out, the Tattoo Tarot Ink and Intuition deck. This is actually probably my favorite tarot deck I have, and it not just because of the artwork, but because it is and it's beautiful, but also because the cards seem to really just fly out. I'm really drawn to this deck, and this deck is very connected to me, so I'm happy to use these today. I don't know why I don't use this deck as much, honestly. I just think it is because it's so powerful of a deck, and it feels like I should only use it for special occasions. Maybe this is a very special occasion, okay? As a reminder, everything I talk about and discuss in this video is for entertainment purposes only and cannot be stated as fact. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, you can listen to more than one pile. And if you don't, wait, did I say this already? If you're not drawn to any of the stacks, that's fine. I have other timeless pick a card reading videos on my channel, as well as collective readings if you want to check those out. But yeah, let's get right into it. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So here we have the 2 of Cups in reverse. This is what Spirit wants for you to stop. And I think it's pretty obvious what they want for you to stop. They want for you to stop trying to go after somebody who doesn't have the same romantic feelings towards you. This could be somebody who you are already in a relationship with, and there's an uneven balance, so therefore, yeah, it's unbalanced, the relationship. You liking the other person more, you putting in more effort, or it could be just indicative of somebody if you are not in a relationship or not yet in one, but you could potentially be in one. Spirit is saying that this person isn't worth your time and energy. I'm trying to get a sense of why. You know what? Before we get into, I feel like pulling a card. This is one of the reasons why it's not healthy. Knight of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so with this, it shows that there's somebody who's not being fully truthful with you. There could be somebody who's known as a player, somebody who plays games, or maybe they're just giving you validation. Here's the thing too. I think this could be interpreted 2 ways. One, they give you validation, but it's lying and they don't actually mean what they say. The validation is incorrect. Or 2, they don't provide you any validation at all. And so it feels like you have to always pine after this person. Like you always have to try to put yourself out there and really, it seems, oh, you know what I'm getting to? I wouldn't be surprised if there's love bombing that goes on. Like if they do that to you, maybe even you to them. But it feels like the other person ultimately just doesn't have the same feelings towards you. And for a lot of you, I think they just don't express that fully. And so it's like you're trying so hard to like pry the answers out of them. Like, okay, but you like me, right? And then they'll maybe give you tidbits of stuff. And then for the other people listening, this could be the opposite of that. Like I said, where they're like, oh yeah, you're just the best person I've ever like been with. You're amazing. I can't wait until, you know, we make it official, but you know, not yet. You know, I have to like just figure some stuff out first, or I need you to really show me and prove to me. I feel like you also have expectations of this person that they are not able to meet, and they could be deal breakers for some of you, but I think it's also just like maybe there's been rules that have been established before the relationship, or there's been a basic understanding of one another before the relationship, but then this person's different in a relationship. So if you're not in a relationship with this person yet, I see that they would be very distant in a relationship if they're not already. And also I just feel like, yeah, they're not willing to be vulnerable with you. It's like they love the chase, but they also escape when things get hard, or when things get too real, or intimate or romantic. So I think Spirit is saying that you need to stop trying to be with this person, because they are not what you need. It's not just about what you want. It's about, like, I'm seeing the neon lights flashing. Need. It's what you need. Because I think some of you are willing to say, well, I'm willing to change parts of myself in order to be with this person, or I'm the one that's willing to make sacrifices, but you can't be the only one to make sacrifices in a romantic partnership, because that's not balanced. And it seems like this person is willing to receive, but not as much willing to give parts of themselves away and be more vulnerable. And Spirit is saying that you need somebody who's willing to be more vulnerable. That doesn't mean you need to have somebody who's exactly like you. I think for the type of people you are, I actually get the sense that for your romantic partnerships, it's good to find people that are, because the balance keeps showing up. So I feel like there needs to be somebody who, like, you have basic core beliefs that you agree on, but then in terms of personality, hobbies, interests, career, I just see there being a lot of differences. And so that's something that keeps the relationship interesting. And it's something that, for some reason, just because of what I'm sensing for who you are and your personality and, like, what you do in your life, something that can balance that out is having somebody who's quite different. I'm getting, like, you know what I get the vibe of? Like, you know how there's people who are extroverted versus introverted? For some people, that kind of dynamic works to have that. For some people, it doesn't. For you, if that's an example for you, let's say you're extroverted. Maybe you need somebody who's more introverted to help balance that out and help you to not burn yourself out, to go out all the time, to spend so much money. Things like that. You just really need somebody to balance you out. And this person, I think, they have many key differences with you, so that's why you're drawn to them. But there's somebody who also, I feel like, you know, like the bad boy, whether they're a boy or not, but I'm getting that kind of aesthetic in my mind and that vibe. And somebody who like kind of is rebellious, kind of anti-everybody, anti-everything, like very anti-social, is almost like, mysterious. There's a word I was really thinking of, mysterious. They have this air of mystery around them, and so you want to learn more. I think you're very intrigued by this person. But Spirit is saying you can be interested in somebody else. Like, you're able to find intrigue and interest in somebody else who also, because I think you're somebody who, in your romantic partnerships, you always like to evolve. And I think you are a type of person, individually speaking, who likes to think outside the box, and likes to think about things that other people don't. Like, I see you being good at having conversations that are very out of the ordinary with people. So I think this person maybe provides that, which draws you into them, but then they don't talk about their life experiences unless it's something that's very surface level. So that was a lot I was getting from that. But this is what Spirit, this is the first card I pulled. This is what Spirit wants for you to stop. And I'll just put this right next to it because I already pulled that. Let's pull some other cards. Let's make sure this is in frame well enough first. So this is what Spirit wants you to stop. Let's pull some other cards for further clarification. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm getting a sense for you all. These next two cards should be some characteristics for your next romantic partner that are different from your current romantic partner, or different enough to help distinguish between them. That's actually what I feel like Spirit wants me to do, so I'm going to listen to that. So this is something you can look out for the future. What's something that they can look out for the future? And it'll help them to know if somebody is worth considering. 9 of Cups. You know what I'm hearing with this? There's somebody who has not had an easy life. They're not somebody who has had things just easily given to them or granted to them. So it's very much like, this is not the type of person who has mommy and daddy's money. There's somebody who is very like hardworking, a self-earned person, if that makes sense. Like, they've gotten everything themselves. And also I'm hearing rough around the edges. So even though I feel like the person you're maybe talking to now has an air about them, a quality of being rough around the edges, this person's rough around the edges because of being hardened by life. But that doesn't mean that they don't want to work hard in the relationship. It's just that they, I'm seeing that in your future partnership or romantic connection, this next person that comes in, there'll be somebody who doesn't have much of things in life. Like, they live very simply. And so I think they'll want to do more once they meet you. Like, if you're somebody who likes to go out a lot, they'd be willing to do that. They'd be willing to make sacrifices as well, because they understand they're the type of person who they've been through a lot and they've had to already make sacrifices. So, but now as they're older, they know what kind of they know how to sacrifice, but it's more than just that, where once they're in a relationship with you or they start talking to you, they'll be able to make sacrifices that feel good to them instead of the kind of sacrifices they've had to make in the past. So it won't be something you or them will have to feel guilty about. It will be like, no, this is something I want to do because it's something, you know, it reminds me of like some people maybe are smokers or heavy drinkers, and maybe this person stopped smoking, or maybe they still drink, but it's not as heavily because it makes you uncomfortable. And so that's something they're willing to sacrifice that. And it's not even for their own well-being, it's for your well-being. Like, they're willing to do things that could even better their health, but it's not about them. It's about them caring about you. So that's what I'm getting from that. Beautiful. Let's pull the next card. A characteristic. So yeah, this person isn't willing to make sacrifices. The next person in line is willing to make sacrifices because they already know what it's like to not, like, they have nothing to lose. It's kind of, that's a lot of the mentality here. Is this the next card? Oh, this card is making me feel funny. For equality. Okay. So with this, it makes me think the High Priestess being in reverse here, they could be somebody who, like, obviously you're at least somewhat into the spiritual side of things because you're listening to this. I wouldn't be surprised if the person you're talking to now says, oh yeah, I'm into tarot, I'm into astrology, I'm into witchcraft. But this next person seems like they're very much not. It feels like they're very atheist or maybe slightly agnostic at best. But that doesn't mean that they are... And I think partially, again, that's because of being jaded by life. They're like, how could we have a God or whatever? But I think they're the type of person who they wouldn't put you down for being somebody who has a faith. As long as it's nothing like super secular, I think they'd be fine with it. I think they're an open-minded person, but they'd still that doesn't mean that they have to believe, right? Like, they're open-minded, they're very accepting of other people, but, and they're the kind of person who's just like, I don't know, people can live their life. They're very, go with the flow isn't really the word I'm trying to, or the phrasing I'm trying to come up with, but they're very, like, kind of stoic, but what am I trying to say here? They're, you know what, I'm hearing I should pull a different card as well. That one, is it that one? That one's poking out. Should I put it back in? Okay, I'm gonna put it back in. Let's shuffle. What's a clarifying card here for what I'm trying to say? I don't even remember what I was trying to say, honestly. But I guess we'll just get further clarifying information either way. I guess you could describe them as just being very almost neutral, but then for you, they're not neutral. They're very, like, you can tell they have a soft spot for you. Sorry, the cards started disassembling in my hands. Is it that one? No. There's a specific card that I feel like wants to come out that better describes this person's energy. Is it this one? No. Oh, this top one. Okay, I'll just do this. Knight of Wands. Yeah, there's somebody who, like, upon meeting them, I don't think, in reverse, I don't think, the best way I can describe it is there's somebody who doesn't really put themselves out there much, so that's how you'll know, too, that they really like you. There's somebody who kind of just stays in their own lane. They kind of just, it's also the vibe of somebody who goes to work, goes home, sleeps, wakes up, goes to work, goes home, sleeps. They probably don't have a very big social circle, so you maybe can help them to expand upon that. I feel like I don't want to run out of time, so I'm gonna pull cards now for well, this is, I guess, what you should do instead. So this is where this is what you should do instead. Okay, I guess I already did that then. Well, since I'm already on that, I'll pull another card to describe this person's personality. And look at that. So we have Knight of Wands and King of Wands. I'm gonna go like this. Let's see if that fits in frame. It does. Yeah, there's somebody who really doesn't, I don't want to say they don't have much going for them, but they don't have super big ambitions. They want to just live a simple life. For some of you, I think that sounds kind of scary, but let me just say this. If you're somebody who, for example, wants to travel around a lot, who wants to explore the world, who goes out a lot, this isn't the type of person who will inhibit you from doing that. They're not going to be like, no, you have to stay home with me. Like, every once in a while, obviously, you should probably stay home with your partner, or you should do things, like, inside. And again, they'd be willing to make sacrifices, do more by stepping out of the comfort zone, doing more outside of just their home and, like, meeting people. But you shouldn't expect them to do that all the time, because you don't want to change who they are, right? There's part of that, of their personality, that's very comfortable. That's what I'm seeing here, too. It's like they're not somebody who's going to step out of line. There's somebody who will make you feel safe and comfortable, but that also means sometimes maybe they'll be a little bit, quote-unquote, boring. But that's why you can have your separate lives while still being a couple or a throuple, whatever, right, your situation is. But they just want a simple life. But that doesn't mean you can't go out and explore. They want for you to be able to do that. It's just, even though they'll step out of their comfort zone sometimes, like, they aren't somebody who takes risks. They're somebody who just lives day in and day out, and that's something where sometimes, here's the thing, I think they might not be the happiest right now. Once they have somebody to help push them out of their comfort zone every once in a while, that's enough for them. They don't need to go the extra mile to, like, they don't want to change their personality, but they do want to do a bit more. So I think that will help bring better balance to their life as well, is stepping out of their comfort zone and doing more. And I don't see them being super talkative, but they'd be willing to have, like, the tough conversations with you, and they'd be willing to, like, go there with you, go through tough times. They're going to definitely show up. I think they're a ride or die for you. They're going to show up for you. Like, they'll be the first one there, and they'll be very calm while doing so. Like, they're a very calm person. They're very good under pressure. They're very good under harsh circumstances because of this rough past they've been on. So this is actually really good because, like, there's this mystery here, but you're chasing so much, and this is over here, this person has mystery, has hardships and that rough exterior, but they also have a soft spot for you, and they also are generally kind-hearted, even if upon first glance they have RBF, or resting bee face, right? So yeah, that's really cool. There's similarities between these people, but obviously this is the much better option. And then we're going to pull one final card from the Cosmic Oracle Tarot deck. And this will just provide us with any additional information that Spirit will like to provide. I don't even need to shuffle about this person. Sexuality. Someone is still figuring themselves out. So maybe, interesting. I wonder if that's you or the other person. I also will throw in gender identity in here, but ultimately sexuality could be thrown in here. So maybe you could be with somebody who is a different sexuality than anybody else you've dated in the past. Or maybe you've finally realized your sexuality, and then this next person, you will would be the first person you date or are intimate with after fully realizing your own sexuality. But also I think with this, I'm hearing being comfortable in your sexuality. So if there's things that, you know what, I feel like actually pulling another card. I feel like I think it might be the bottom card. Confession. Someone has to tell you something. I feel like it's interesting. So this next person you'll be with, something to consider is that you or they, I don't want to say you'll be sexually incompatible, but there could be something very different going on in like the bedroom. And yeah, so that's something too where I don't even want to say necessarily it's weird, but it's something different for you to finally explore, or the other person has certain things that they like. Just something to consider. But this also again could be just about sexuality. Like maybe this is also the first person you tell, like, hey, I'm bisexual, or I'm non-binary, you know, even though again gender doesn't have to do with sexuality, but I'm still putting that in here with this card. I feel like I want to say more about what I'm getting about the bedroom stuff, but I'm hearing you'll know when you know. Like you'll know. And I don't think this person really has shame around this, but even they might be a little bit shy at first to bring certain things up. So that's just something to consider. I see this being not bad at all. I see this just being very different for you and being very eye-opening. Anything involving sexuality. Just keep that in mind. But I hope you enjoyed this 1A. You can like the video, you can comment down below if you resonate with this stack, and you can update your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel, and you can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos and collecting readings on my channel. You can check out any of my ASMR channels linked down below. I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, 1A. Bye-bye. Hello, 2B, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. We have the Three of Wands up right here, and I'm just getting a simple message, honestly, to start, where Spirit is saying what you need to stop. What you need to stop is, don't look, like in the traditional imagery of this card, somebody is looking out onto the world. So I think you have a lot of, ooh, okay, now I'm getting more messages. I think you have a lot of big expectations for your life, and I think you're also always just looking toward the future instead of being more present. So Spirit wants you to be more present in life, and so stop looking so much toward the future and be more present, and also stop having such high expectations for yourself. And I don't want to even say lower your expectations, but just don't place so much pressure. Like, I think you inflate expectation with goals. You can have goals, but those shouldn't be your expectations. And they overlap, right? It's like you should expect to hopefully reach your goals one day, but you put so much pressure where it's like, no, it needs to happen. It's almost like life or death, where you're like, no, if this doesn't happen, it feels like I will die. And Spirit's like, it's not that serious. Like, even though parts of life, I'm not saying you don't have anything that you should be worried about or that you can't take seriously, but Spirit is saying there are things leading up to these big goals that you want to achieve that you can also do that will also be just as important in your life. Like, let me think of an example. Just as important as graduating college, if you're a freshman, is getting through ninth grade, sorry. I was thinking freshman high school, is getting through freshman year, and then getting through sophomore year, and then getting through junior year, and then getting through senior year. What if in between that time you realize you actually don't want to pursue that major that you had? You just wanted to do it because you thought it would make you a lot of money, or because you thought it sounded cool. And so I think with reaching certain milestones, Spirit wants you to be more open to changing your mind, and Spirit wants you to be more open to, yeah, I'm seeing you being more present, so then you're being more open to taking risks, I guess, but I'm just seeing you changing course. Like, don't be afraid to change your mind And that doesn't mean you can't change these big goals you have. That's why it can be dangerous to set such high expectations on the goals we wish to achieve. Because if we end up doing something different, we can kind of feel like failures. And Spirit's like, you're not a failure. You're just figuring it out. We're all figuring it out. You're not meant to always know what you're supposed to do. And that's also not what makes life fun. So that's something too, where Spirit wants you to view the nuances of life as being more fun and interesting. They don't always have to be favorable or happy-go-lucky times, but you'll be able to hopefully respect and honor the process more, is what Spirit wants you to do. And with each milestone you reach or each next step you take, you can look and be like, is this still where I'd like to be? And it's okay to do that. It's okay. That doesn't mean you're like, oh, I don't trust myself. No, because you could have all the faith in the world in something, which I think a lot of you do. But then if you have different thoughts, you could be like, well, like, it reminds me of two people in relationships where it's like, you're engaged, your wedding is like a month away. But now this partner, like, you start unraveling things, or maybe information's being uncovered that you wish you knew years ago. Or maybe you just realize you're not on the same page with this person. Or what you'd like to do, like when you'd like to have kids, if you even want to have kids, you think about these things more. And it's like, well, the wedding is a month away, so I just have to get married. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You always have the ability to make a choice. You have power in your choices. Now, we let go of power. Like, I know in spirituality, people talk about like letting go and just letting what you want to have happen. Part of that, though, is also letting what isn't meant to happen for you not happen, or things just along the way, being able to distinguish better between, like, here, there's so many things come through. Distinguish between maybe also what you used to want versus what you want now versus in the future. We can't know what we would want in the future, but for now we can know what we want. So it's okay to still work toward things, but if our priorities, if our mindset, if our likes, hobbies, interests shift, then it's okay to follow that. And if we choose not to, we have to question why it is we want to stay put. Is it just because we placed so much expectation in the past? Our past selves maybe didn't know better, or maybe, again, just as we evolve as human beings, and as our priorities shift, we also shift what it is we'd like to do in life. And Spirit is saying that's something we need to embrace. We don't always have to enjoy it, but in parts of it, we should learn to enjoy. So not 100% of the time, but there are parts of it we can enjoy. Such as being like, oh, I'm glad I realized this because now I'll be happier doing this. And I set myself free from the chains and binding to something that doesn't resonate with me anymore, something that isn't meant for me anymore, or something that I am willing to give up and sacrifice if it means I get to do this other thing instead, or have this other person in my life instead. So that's the first card here for what Spirit would like for you to stop. And I'm hearing like give up on, but giving up isn't always a bad thing. There's such a stigma around like what giving up means and thinking you're a failure, but you are so not a failure. You just gotta like reframe your mind. And if there's things you still want to accomplish, but maybe I just see it too, even if there's things you want to accomplish in life still moving forward, I think your thoughts and feelings about that goal will shift and change. That doesn't mean you can't find it as being important. So maybe it'll be even more important as time goes on for you to hopefully achieve this thing. But I just see a lot of shifting of thoughts and feelings. And also a lot more of a better understanding as to the whys of why you want something to happen in the first place. More information though, Spirit. I feel like pulling a card out. Is it both of these? This one is especially being highlighted right now. It'll be important. What's something they should stop? The Star. Yeah, so this to me indicates that there's a hope or dream that you have that will be no longer. Maybe that's because you won't have the financial means, or locationally you'll be impacted. Maybe it's because politics are affecting your ability to chase this dream right now. Or you just have other priorities, like family member who became ill with cancer, right? The star reverse indicates to me just what I've been already saying, that your priorities will shift, your dreams and goals will shift, and that is okay. Whether it's the same thing, but maybe just in a different font, like it's similar but slightly different, or it's a completely different thing you're going to work toward. That's completely okay. And I'm also seeing that there's experiences you haven't had yet that once you have them, it'll help you understand. Like, I don't want to explain. It's a new experience. Just anything that's new and different for you. And that will help you realize, oh, maybe, you know what it makes me think? Like when people also get internships or like a day on the job working with people or like alongside people, seeing what people actually do. And maybe you do that and you're like, oh my God, I actually really don't think I would want to do this. And that's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your mind and be like, well, it's a good thing I did this. Even if you feel like, this is something I've been working toward for so long. Well, at least you know now instead of even later on. Something to think about. Yep. This one, and this is really was being highlighted for me. We have the Tower. So there are things that are meant to happen in your life, experiences you will have that, whether you like it or not, will shift your priorities, will shift your mindset, and will shift your goals. There are things that will happen that and at first, I think you'll be like, well, it'll feel like a loss. Like, I wish I still had this thing I could work toward, or I had this thing in my life. And Spirit's saying that they understand that it's okay to go through the grieving process, but this is something that it feels like it's very divinely your guides are like interrupting, cutting through and being like, we are here and we have to change things up a bit, because there's things in life, like I believe both in free will and predetermined destiny and fate, where I think there are choices we have the ability to make, but there's also things that Spirit wants for us to do. So this is one of those things where Spirit's like, we want for you to go down a different path or do something different here. You haven't been picking up on our signs, or you're being stubborn, or you're just not understanding what it is, or you haven't had these experiences yet. And so we want for you to, we're going to throw these experiences in here so that you can think things through and then change your mind on something. And this can be scary. I think in the moments when this happens, and directly like the months following these shifts of mindset, I think it'll be scary for you, and you'll feel kind of off balance in terms of you won't really feel like you know yourself. But Spirit is saying to not be afraid of that, where it's okay to always like ask ourselves different questions. And if we feel like we don't know yourself, that's the perfect time to ask yourself questions and to be like, okay, well, what is it that I do want? What is it that I don't want? What is it that I do like? What is it that I don't like? And then card number 4. What is it that they should stop? I feel like this next card will also be very important, and I think it'll be almost different in a way from the cards we've already pulled. The Magician. Yeah, so let's like to use this. With the Magician being in reverse, that insinuates to me that if you continue on down this path, like, things will happen that will force you in a different direction anyway. But with the Magician in reverse specifically, it's saying that no matter how hard you try to, like, I'm hearing, you can't make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. You know, when Regina George says that to Gretchen Wieners in Mean Girls, where it's like your guides are saying that, but they're trying to say that kind of lovingly, but it's also like, stop. They're saying, stop. You can't force this to happen. If you truly are really trying to force something to happen, that means it's not meant for you. If you're trying to force something to happen and things aren't budging or things aren't working the way you'd like, then maybe that's a big indicator and a big sign that you should not go after that thing or that person. You should not be doing this thing anymore. It is not something that Spirit wants for you to have in your life for any longer. They want for you to just yeet it. So no matter how hard you try, no matter how, this is saying manifesting won't get it to happen. This is saying that spell work, magic, and witchcraft, all that will not get this to happen. This is something where Spirit is literally like blocking it. They're preventing you from going further. So either you can start the process now, or you'll have these experiences where spirit will literally push you and block you from going any further. It's like you will not have the ability or the capacity to move forward towards something, toward any goal or goals that you have. You're meant to shift them. You're meant to, and if you really truly sit down with yourself and think about it, you really won't feel connected to these desires that you once had. You'll just be like, well, I feel like I need to. That's why I keep on this path, because I just have felt like I needed to. And Spirit's like, you don't need to. You just feel like you need to. You want to, or maybe you don't even want to, but you used to want to. And so you feel like you have to fulfill like that part of yourself. I think some of this also could relate to inner child. Like maybe it's something when you were really young. You had these expectations from a young age. And so this is something where it helps you feel safe, and it helps you feel connected to that younger you, that more hopeful you. So even over the years, as you've lost hope, you're like, this is one of the only things that's been a constant in my life. But Spirit's like, life is full of surprises, and actually you holding on to things that aren't meant for you prevents you from having more stability, because it's just you're delaying the inevitable is the way this comes across. And then what's one card? I feel like it's the top card for what you should do instead. I feel like I might pull another card too. Queen of Wands. For that, yeah, I'm gonna pull another card. I'm just hearing that, yeah, change course. Also, I'm hearing that, yeah, you talk yourself out of doing things because you feel like you're very good at gaslighting yourself. So Spirit is saying now's the time to fully be honest with yourself and to accept the hard truths. And then there's another card I'm going to pull, and I feel like it's also going to be a card that signifies or describes this energy better. What's something, Spirit, that they should do instead? I'm hearing like, yeah, letting your guard down, your wall down with yourself. No more lying to yourself. And I feel like you're angry toward yourself too, which is why you feel like you need to prove yourself wrong. But Spirit's like, don't have that mindset. Just try to do the best you can. Do what would ultimately make you happy. And that's what matters. It doesn't, like, don't think that you've wasted your time, because you haven't. You've learned along the way. And that's an important step in this process we call life. What is something else, Spirit? Whoa. Okay, is it one of these cards? Yeah, it's this card. 8 of Pentacles. That's the thing too. If you feel like you've already worked super hard toward something and it's not working out, and so you're like, well, I don't want to work hard, and then the other thing also doesn't end up working out, I'm hearing that this will be a different energy, because it will be in line with what Spirit wants for you to do. So you'll see the hard work paying off more than in the past where you haven't really been able to. You'll see hard work paying off. 8 of Pentacles is also about like future planning, about, I guess that's also more so 7 of Pentacles, but I'm getting it for here too, where it's like, it's also about skill mastery. And so what Spirit is saying is that what you're meant to do will come to you more easily in a way. Maybe in some ways it won't, because there's a lot of deconditioning you have to do and a lot of learning new things. And while that will be hard, this is saying that what's truly meant for you to do in life, you'll be rewarded. You won't just have to work hard, and then feel like you're being tortured or punished or that you're not doing something right. Once you're on the right path, and a lot of you, this does relate to career. Once you know you're doing the right thing, or like a specific company or whatever, once you know you're doing the right thing, you will feel rewarded. Not just about like physical means, such as getting a raise, but about mentally and emotionally, you will feel fulfilled. You'll just not have to question if you're doing the right thing, and you won't have to stress so much about any circumstances in your life that are changing, because you'll know deep down that what you're doing, it feels right, therefore it is right. What you're doing is right. And there's certain imagery I'm getting, one second. I'm also seeing that you won't be a workhorse. Like up here, it's like you'll work hard, but you won't feel as drained as you do right now, or as you have in the past. That's part of it too. It's like you'll feel more energized with what you're doing. That doesn't mean you can't have days of feeling less energized, but you will feel overall a lot better energy-wise. And like mentally, ooh, I almost want to cry. Mentally, you'll be a lot more sharp and a lot more clear. And you'll be more confident in your abilities. You won't question if you are the person to get the job done. You'll know it. And then we will pull one more final card here for any additional energy Spirit would like to provide you with. I feel like it's this middle card, actually. Someone else. Someone is in the middle. Someone is trying to sabotage this. I think the someone else here is you. It's like your ego. This also could be somebody in your life who, like, for example, it could be a parent who's like, no, you're doing the right thing. This is something that will make you good money. It will provide you stability. It will help you find a partner. I feel like there's another card Spirit wants for me to pull as well to clarify this. But yeah, this is saying don't listen to what other people are saying to you. Don't listen to past you saying that you need to do something. Listen to yourself right now in this moment. Listen to what you feel is right for you. Sorry, I'm trying to see which of these I should draw to help clarify. Oh. Okay. What are these two cards? Which one should it be? I feel like it's this one. Spy. Someone's got their eye on you. You are doing your research. Yeah. So it feels like people are keeping a close eye on you. I feel like there's changes that people will start to, in your life, will start to notice as well. So that's why they'll try to interject, because they'll notice you'll try to make these shifts even before you say it out loud. Or maybe you'll say some stuff over time, like this, and then I'm going to reveal this information and then this information. So it feels like people are being kind of sneaky and will try to prevent you from making these changes. But remember that what's most important is what's best for you. This also can include you. It's like, I think you'll be very questioning of yourself in this process, but just trust the process and learn to trust yourself more. You got this. I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, 2B, for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can like the video. You can comment down below if you resonate with this stack, and you can update your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. You can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos on my channel, as well as my collective readings. You can check out my ASMR channels. They'll be linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much again, 2B, and take care. Bye-bye. Hello, 3C, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. We have here the Four of Cups in reverse, and with this card, I was seeing somebody like freeze. Like I was seeing somebody in the middle of a road and a car is coming toward them and they're trying to stop in time and you're able to move out of the way, but you freeze. So I wouldn't be surprised just in general your fight, flight, freeze, fawn response is to freeze. So Spirit is saying they want you to work on that. It feels like, yeah, just in general in life, you feel like a deer in headlights, and they want you to have more, Spirit wants you to have more self-confidence in yourself. So stop believing that you can't accomplish things. Stop believing that you aren't able to, I'm hearing get a move on. Spirit is saying you are able to have momentum. Even if it's in small baby steps. Let me try and, you know what, I feel like I already need to start pulling cards. Let me pull at least one more card, because I feel like Spirit wants for me to right now. Okay. What do you mean, Spirit? Does this one want to come out? That one does want to come out. Okay. Six of Wands in reverse. Yeah, I think a lot of you also struggle with having attention on you, which is why the freeze response makes sense. Deer in headlights is like if the camera's on you and you freeze and you don't know what to say. So something Spirit wants you to work on is, you know, I'm seeing somebody taking speech classes. That could be helpful, or like improv classes, doing something where you have to be forced to think quickly. That's something Spirit wants you to work on, is learning how to think quickly. That's a bit, you know what? I feel like they want me to pull another card already. We're going to do that. We're going to listen to what Spirit has to say. What is something else here? Something you want for them to stop. I'm hearing you, like, you know what I'm getting visuals of too? Somebody who does a group project in school and they do all the work, but they don't take the credit. So I think that's part of it too, where Spirit wants you to take credit for things. And they don't want you to be afraid of receiving compliments and of receiving praise. I feel like a lot of you don't think you deserve it. And it's like when somebody compliments you, like, oh, your hair looks great today. And you're like, oh, no, it's nothing. You know, things like that. Spirit wants you to stop doing that and instead accept and receive compliments and accept and receive praise. Accept, like, awards, whatever it is. Like, good things that happen in your life, it feels like you minimize those things. You feel like you aren't deserving or worthy of those things. So that's part of building up your self-confidence. It's not just about what you do in the world. It's about how you receive information. It's how you perceive your situation. And a lot of you lack the, I almost want to say, awareness of how maybe good you are at something or how good of a person you are. You just feel like, I feel like you also think you are maybe faking it. Like, nobody knows I'm actually not a good person. You just have so much, you put so much pressure on yourself to be a good person and to do things right. And so it feels like you always are able to pinpoint, like, you're probably very perfectionistic in a way where you, after you've submitted something, after you've done something, and you receive feedback or a grade on it, and then, like, let's say you get 100%, you're like, no, well, this is, but, and then it's like you go up to the professor, it's like, but how is this okay? I messed up here. It's very much that energy where you always find ways in which you have messed up. It's like you always want to be humble. And Spirit is saying you can be both humble and confident. You can be confident in your abilities. You can be humble where you need to be. Like, if you do mess up majorly and you need to be like, okay, I'm sorry I did that. I'll, like, rework this. I just feel like you probably grew up in an environment where people always put you down. People always told you you would amount to nothing. So you've internalized that. And so you don't really accept good things that happen to you in life. You always feel like, it's not even, you know what, it's not even always feeling like something bad is going to happen. I don't really even get that vibe. It's just you feel like you don't deserve the good things. And you feel like there's always something you've done wrong or that you could have done better. And so Spirit wants you to stop having that mindset. It's very toxic. And it's also with this, I'm hearing and seeing it's very draining. And also I'm seeing that you probably don't have a big social circle and it's hard for people to get a hold of you, because I feel like you don't want to be a burden on other people. So Spirit is saying you are not a burden. The people who love and care for you will show up for you, will want to be around you. Like, if people ask you to hang out, you're not a burden. I feel like you probably aren't the person who really takes initiative much either. And when you do, then you feel bad. Like, oh, I'm messing with this person's schedule. They could be doing something else better with their lives. You just view yourself in such a lower regard. So Spirit, I think me putting it like that, you're like, no, maybe I don't think so. But I think a lot of you do. You put yourself in this regard of being much lower and of less importance than other people. And Spirit is saying it's okay for you to be a priority in other people's life. And it's okay for you to be highlighted in any way that's positive. You are not a bad person. You are not taking away another person's shine by standing out and being who you are. This card flew out. I wasn't even fully shuffling the cards yet. Is it that way or was it going to be? No, it's definitely yeah, it's definitely this way. Knight of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you just don't talk very kindly to yourself, do you? And this also indicates being more antisocial. So Spirit wants you to instead be more social. Not everybody's out to get you. And also you don't need to always like be in agreement with other people. I think some of you too struggle because you want to be a good person. You try so hard to be. But then when somebody says something that's even remotely something you slightly disagree with, it's something where you're like, okay, well, I can't be with this around this person anymore because we have different beliefs. So remember that just because people are different from you, and that includes having different thoughts, different opinions, different beliefs, that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. You are not a bad person also for viewing the nuance in people. I wouldn't be surprised if the people you are friends with are also kind of like, I'm hearing like rejects by society, and that can include people who deal with things like, an example could be addiction, right? So maybe these are people that have been hardened by life, but it's like people view them differently. And I think you relate to these people, and you want to show these people that they are good enough and that they still have value. And while that's a beautiful thing, I think you don't direct enough of that energy toward yourself. Also, I just think there probably are people in your life who you still have around, who've maybe been around for a while, who don't really treat you the best. So that's why it's hard for you to think of yourself as being a good enough person, because you have people in your ear telling you that you aren't good enough. So how are you going to believe that if you always have people telling you that? So that's just something to consider. And if you feel like a wallflower, like a reject, just know that there are other people who are like you out there, and there are even people who aren't like you who are still willing to be accepting of you, and who will still want to give you your flowers, who will still want to praise you in some way for something you've done. And that's okay. That doesn't mean people are trying to have ulterior motives. Sometimes people can be good and just want for you to feel good. You're very like hyper vigilant of other people. There's a time and place for that, though, is what I'm hearing. And a lot of times it's misplaced in your life, I think. So be more optimistic. Even if you're cautiously optimistic, be more optimistic about things. No, not that one. Okay. Final card up here. Put that back in. There's a specific card that wants to come out. This one? Yeah. High Priestess. Yeah, so Spirit is... There's another card that wants to come out. Judgment. Yeah, Spirit is saying to be less judgmental of yourself and to trust yourself more. That's what these two cards are saying. They want for you to trust yourself more and believe that you know what's right versus what's wrong. And that if there's something where you've made a mistake or you've done something wrong, have faith and trust in yourself that you're able to make the necessary changes to be able to do better next time, instead of just beating yourself down for doing something wrong or bad. Instead of just doing that, you can also, I'm bringing up the nuance again, because you can realize, okay, I didn't mean to do that, so I'll just, try to explain why I'm sorry and hopefully do better next time. And it's also coming through that, yeah, I'm hearing that other people don't hate you as much as almost that you hate yourself, or other people don't dislike you as much as you think they dislike you. It's like you put up these walls before you even get to having conversations with people, and you just expect that they won't like you, or you expect that they won't like the way you look, that they'll be judging you. And Spirit's saying that's actually, usually that's not what's happening. And if that is happening, they want for you to be better at, I'm hearing like water off a duck's back. They want for you to be better at just letting it be. We can't always change people's perceptions of us, but we can change our perceptions of ourselves. And we can determine what we allow to have a large impact on our mood or on our day or on our life. So if somebody does something where it's like they see you coming and they don't open the door for you and you're like, wow, that person like could tell that like they wouldn't like me. And maybe they're just really in a rush, right? We don't even have to think that. We can just be like, well, whatever the reasoning. This is more so the middle ground where it's like, whatever the reasoning, I'm okay. I'm able to open the door, so I'll be fine. Like, it's not the end of the world, is what I'm hearing. I feel like... there's a specific message that's trying to come through. 1 second. Yeah, I'm hearing judge of character. I think you probably compare yourself to other people quite a bit too. Spirit wants me to stop doing that. You yourself are a good person. Since you always are worrying about doing the right thing, it's like that obviously shows goodness in you. But also give yourself grace and remind yourself that nobody is 100% perfect. Nobody is immune from judgment. You could be, like a lot of you I think are already in this part of life right now where you could be trying to do everything right. You could be doing everything right, and there's still going to be people who don't like you or who don't appreciate what you're doing, who don't like the way you look, any part of yourself. There's going to be people who don't like you either way. So this is about embracing the parts of you that you're I don't know, I'm just hearing like embracing all parts of you, even the parts that other people have judged in the past. It's like, are these parts of yourself that you don't mind or that you really even love? Then you shouldn't care about what other people have to say, because it's not about what other people think. It's not about what other people say. It's about how you feel. And do you feel a certain way about yourself because of what society tells you, what your friends or family tell you should feel? Do you feel a certain way about how you look because society tells you you need to look a certain way at this moment in time before it changes in a few years, what the ideal body type is? So really, part of the messaging here is looking at the bigger picture, not just looking so... Like, I see you nitpicking at every small thing that happens and seeing it as something that... Like, I see you taking on the world. So it's like you need to tackle every little thing and you need to consider every single little minute aspect of yourself. But I'm hearing that you should live more freely, and you should live more freely in terms of especially having less judgment for yourself. Just do things. Don't be afraid to be cringe. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's part of what life is all about. And then we're going to pull a couple more cards down here for... Down here, we'll play some cards for what you should do instead. Any advice for what you should do instead? Advice for what you should do instead. Wheel of Fortune. Before I move into talking more about Wheel of Fortune, I feel like it'll be helpful for me to pull the other cards. Let me just do that. We love to see the Wheel of Fortune, though. But, well, okay, I will say, I'm hearing Spirit say, just let life play out. Like, you aren't able to factor in every single part of life. There are things in life that will happen outside of our control and outside of us knowing we want it to happen. And then it does happen. We're like, well, I'm actually glad that that happened. Okay, that one. Ten of Coins. Yeah, I just see you being a lot more free. So what you should do instead is, I'm just hearing, it's a general message, but embrace life. So that means embracing all parts of life, even the parts that aren't always pretty, even the parts that aren't always favorable, even the parts that make us uncomfortable. Something I gotta say here. Yeah, I just see you being a lot happier and being a lot more free. But I know you're wondering more about, like, how did it get to that point? Yeah, that's just having a lot less self-judgment. So if you do something, instead of being in your head about it, being like, oh, that was stupid, I did that. That was stupid, to be like... It's almost like you should enter more of a meditative state. Just be more neutral, like I said up here. With being more neutral with yourself and understanding the nuance, you allow yourself to be more free. So when things happen that are bad, when things happen that are good, when things happen that are neutral, when things just happen in life, down to the minute detail of everyday life, I see that it'll be better for you to not question yourself as much. And just to hold less judgment toward yourself, in moments when you're very hypercritical of yourself, instead of allowing those negative or intrusive thoughts to keep replaying over and over, just allow yourself practice. It'll take practice, but go into a meditative state and just be neutral. Just allow the thoughts to pass through you and then realize that, oh, I'm still alive. Oh, I'm still here. Okay, I'll just get back to whatever I was doing. I think doing that puts a lot less pressure on you because it's not like you're doing anything out of the ordinary. You're just simply, and it's not you ignoring your thoughts or how you feel in your body, it's you acknowledging. But then, and that doesn't mean you can't ever think critically, but I think you are so hypercritical, you need to understand when it's time to let things go and when it's time to just go with the flow and when it's time to just be, versus when you need to give more thoughts to something in your life that's going on. Spirit is saying with practice, you'll be able to decipher what it is you need to spend more time on versus just letting life be and play out as it's meant to. Yeah, and I see you, I think doing less planning could be helpful. So yeah, with the going with the flow part of things, planning things out, scheduling things out less, and just seeing what happens. Not for everything, but for some things, and seeing what happens. And if you have an itinerary or a list of things you like to get done in a day or on the weekends, chores, errands, I encourage you to do things out of order and see how you feel. And then at the end of it, you can be even if you felt anxious during that process where you're taken out of your normal routine, you can be I'm glad I did something different. And guess what? I'm still here. And maybe you'll realize that by doing something slightly different, or by doing things not by the book or in a routine-oriented way all the time, you realize that you feel more free and less restrained that way. And you'll feel more at peace. And it's almost like I'm seeing past you or present you with cobwebs, and then the cobwebs go away when you're able to just get rid of the clutter in the mind. And I feel like there's more I want to say with that, but I'm just going to go to the final card here. So that card. It's that card. For any additional information Spirit has for you, caution, find out more information, don't overwork yourself. It's interesting that got pulled because I feel like you all are already very cautious people. So I think what Spirit is saying is you don't have to throw caution to the wind. You don't have to completely release all your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. You're able to still be, it's with the phrase cautiously optimistic. You're still able to hold caution. And there's a reason why you do things the way you do and why you view yourself the way you do, because it's a way to protect yourself. I feel like there's actually another card they want me to pull. But Spirit is saying to understand that it's okay to still be cautious, but you still have to be willing to take risks, and you still have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone and try new things, do things a bit different. Nothing bad will happen if you do things slightly different, for the most part, right? I don't know your life situation, but if you do your errands at a different time or in a different order than usual one day, or you skip one and you do it the next day instead, typically speaking, that won't hurt you. It might cause you to be a bit anxious, but then you have to sit with the anxiety. That's part of anxiety too, is learning to sit with it is very helpful for people when they're able to start to do that. To sit with the anxiety and not let the anxiety overcome you. This does really feel like quite an anxious group. So I'm sorry to hear that, but Spirit wants you to be free. And Spirit's saying you're able to, they're not going to say that they'll cure your anxiety, but they'll say that there are things you can do that will help you in moments of anxiety and just everyday anxiety. One more card, please. Further clarify. Patience. Just a few more months, good things come to those who wait. That's exactly. And Wheel of Fortune can kind of remind me of that sentiment as well. But yeah, Spirit is saying to give yourself, with caution here too, it's great, because Spirit is saying take things one step at a time. You don't have to do an overhaul of everything you're already doing. You don't have to completely change things up at a 180 degrees. You can do, even if you want to eventually, Spirit's saying that takes time. Don't flip everything on its head, change everything at the snap of the fingers all at once. You can make these changes, necessary and just things you want to do. And also, this is about how you view yourself as well, as we were talking about. So Spirit is saying, with patience, give yourself grace and be patient with yourself on this journey of being more kind to yourself, of learning to be more accepting of yourself, and just overall less harsh. It's a process. It takes time. And so you have to be patient with yourself. Good things come to those who wait. Eventually, it will come more like an everyday thing where it won't have to be so, you don't want to be so conscious with being kind to yourself or with being more lenient on yourself. These things will come more naturally. You'll be able to naturally enter that state of, no, I'm okay. Like in the moment, this thing upset me or triggered me, but I'll be okay. Like, it makes me think too, like things we do as habits, like when we get triggered, if there's those things you want to work on, Spirit saying it takes time. And even there are people like years, you know what it reminds me of? Like alcoholics who, after years, like 27 years or whatever, being sober, and then they get drunk for a day or two. Things like that happen. So that's also what you have to realize with even being cautious. It's like, with you not being perfect and with you realizing that, you'll be more, with being more kind to yourself when you do mess up or you do something that you are trying to not do anymore. The patience, it's like, okay, realizing I'm not perfect, I can try to do better next time, and having the tools and resources as you take your time slowly over time to make changes. You'll have resources and tools that you know have helped you in the past to get you to where you are now, so you can rely on those and be like, okay, like, I did this thing, I didn't want to do it, I'll try to do better next time, and I'll remember that I have this tool to help me. And you'll also have the tools and resources over time to help you when you do mess up or you do make a mistake. It's like, okay, this will help me bounce back. I know the tools I can use and utilize to help me bounce back quicker than I would have been able to before. Okay, I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, 3C, for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can like the video, you can subscribe, you can comment down below if you resonate with this stack, and you can update your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos and my collective reading videos on my channel, and you can check out my ASMR channels if you're into ASMR at all, or if you're curious. Those channels will be linked down below. Thank you so much again, 3C, and take care.